celebrating 25 years of the best coverage of high school sports in Western Pennsylvania. This is the Trib Live High School Sports Network, covering 140 schools throughout all 3 sports seasons. Trib HSSN is always there. On tribhssn.triblive.com, you'll find live and archive broadcasts, scores, standings, news, and so much more. The Trib Live High School Sports Network, broadcasting high school sports in Western Pennsylvania for 25 years.
And we welcome you to Boys Middle School. The venue changed for Upper St. Clair Boys Lacrosse tonight on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Our friends from the north are back, just like last year. The Hill Academy from Ontario comes down. They make a couple trips to Western Pennsylvania. This is the first of 2 for this non-section game. Pretty good competition. The prep school from Canada coming down to get the teams ready for the playoffs with Kevin Zolmansky, Jess Levo producing. I'm Bob Workwis. This is a big test, right? You play games like the Hill Academy tonight, Kevin, for Upper St. Clair. Mars tomorrow, right? That gets you ready for the postseason.
Yeah, you're basically in the middle of the schedule, right? You're trying to push yourself as much as possible, see where you are. You get a status report on your team, what you want to work on for the stretch, which would basically start next week, as the Panthers will have 5 home games of the 7 remaining games. So this is a critical stretch to test themselves. It was an easy win last night against Norwin, 15-6, coming off a game similar to this, where they were at the Kissy School out in Salzburg, and they lost 19-7. So it's, you're looking for some consistent competition. This is kind of up and down between the Kissy School, Norwin, and the Hill, but it's a good test. It's a good setting here. Sun shining. It's a good night for some lacrosse.
Section win last night, so 3-0. Mount Lebanon also won. They're 2-0. And that gets back into swing next week with section play with the Panthers. We're going to go to Brandon Rossi on the PA. He will take you through the pregame festivities, the starting lineups, the national anthem, and then we'll have the opening face-off as it's Hill Academy and Upper St. Clair on Upper St. Clair Boys Lacrosse on Trib HSSN.
And now, meeting the starting lineups. First, for the Hill Academy. At defense, number 11, Cooper Campbell. At defense, number 13, Dash Adams. At defense, number 21, Luke Cleland. At faceoff, number 26, Porter Crossman. A long stick midi, number 28, Garnett Schultz. At attack, number 33, Bowen Downey. At midfield, number 35, Evan Miller. At attack, number 51, Kyle Cleland. At attack, number 77, Vince Ward. And in goal for Hill Academy, number 47, Aiden Kello. The assistant coaches are Matt Accioni and Connor Gillis. Head coach for the Hill Academy is Cameron Accioni. And now, introducing the starting lineup for your Upper St. Clair Panthers. A junior defender, number 2, Beck Shields. A senior midfielder, number 6, Holden Rickle. A senior defender, number 7, Bobby Fleckenstein. A senior midfielder, number 9, Oscar Limecooler. A junior faceoff, number 10, Sully Mayfield. A senior defender, number 14, Ryan Pop. A junior long stick midi, number 16, Cooper Rackley. A senior attacker, number 19, Ryan Bonomo. A senior midfielder, number 23, Nathan Haberman. And in goal for the Panthers, a senior, number 0, Tyler Newton. The assistant coaches for the Panthers are Ben Starkey and Chris Spice. And the co-head coaches for Upper St. Clair are Matt Trella and Ryan Shorts.
Well, there are many reasons why, but one bigger than others. Maybe not.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, let us all please rise. And gentlemen, remove your hats as we honor our countries with the performance of the national anthem. First, for the Canadian national anthem. And now, please remain standing for the performance of the American national anthem.
There you have our national anthems and the starting lineups as the Hill Academy gets set to take on Upper St. Clair boys lacrosse non-conference action. Hill Academy from Ontario. Not only did the venue change, Kevin Zomanski, but the weather has certainly
significantly changed. There is sunshine in front of us, Bob. There was none to be found of
Mid-50s.
that last night.
Yesterday it was raw. Tonight, beautiful spring evening. The sun is out, temps in the mid-50s. Hill Academy out there. They'll be in the black and white, Upper St. Clair in the home whites, the black shorts, the red trim. Beck Newton will start, Tyler Newton, the senior, in goal for Upper St. Clair. And the starting goaltender for the Hill Academy is Aiden Kello, who's an Orangeville, Ontario native. That seems to be the most popular hometown amongst the players rostered for the Hill Academy. Their head coach is Graham Hossick, but he's not here today. So Cameron Accioni is the acting head coach. Matt Accioni, Connor Gillis, the coaching staff. Matt Trella, Ryan Shorts, the co-head coaches for Upper St. Clair. Ben Starkey, Chris Bice also on the staff for Upper St. Clair.
Besides Orangeville, Ontario, it seems like the second most or the largest number of hometowns for the players is Oakville, Ontario. It's quite often there. You were looking at the microscopic roster that was
correct. You enlarged yours, which was a wise move. Also, just in case there are any Maple Leaf fans in and amongst the Hill Academy, they're pretty happy heading into the playoffs. Right?
Go Leafs, go!
It doesn't always end up well for our friends.
Big Battle of Ontario will start this weekend.
That's right. You got a big battle going on in Florida as well.
That's right. See, Bobby and I are calling lacrosse, but big hockey fans. We do hockey also. Fired up for the playoffs starting this weekend.
Now the goaltenders will tap hands and baskets. Newton goes to the right with Kello going to the left.
Bob, I think that's a veteran move by Newton. He understands that for the first half. The sun will be at his back and not in his eyes. So he puts Aiden Kello in the sun spot for the first half. Probably the second half, the sun will be down.
We were here last year. It was Canisius from New York who played Upper St. Clair here at Boyce Middle School. They're scheduled to play Pine Richland tomorrow at Hill Academy. Then a game scheduled tonight with Mars and Upper St. Clair tomorrow. So I'm not sure if that Mars game has been rescheduled to later on in the week or the weekend. Hill Academy will also come back in May, and Hill will play Peters Township at Mount Lebanon on that trip. So here we go, the opening face-off with Sully Mayfield going against Porter Crossman. And it is possession Panthers as Ryan Pop, who gets the start tonight, or Cooper Rackley comes up the near side to Evan Proud. And then Oscar Limecoller, and Rickle. And Proud comes off the bench now. Unlike the high school field where the logo is USC, it's the Panther logo here at Boyce Middle School. Good dodge by Proud down the near side. His pass, good catch by Bonomo. Right wing, he gets into traffic, flips it nicely to Charlie Limecoller, and the Panthers reset with Holden Rickle. Now Proud on the near side.
Well, Limecoller had to put his hand up for the sun.
That's a good point that you made with the sun setting here in the South Hills of Pittsburgh.
Right there.
Aaron pass. He tries to throw it back to the near side to Oscar Limecoller, and the Panthers turn it over. This will be the first possession for Hill Academy. They go to Kello, the goaltender. And now Hill will come up the middle of the field. That's Evan Miller. And his pass comes to Landon Dupuis David.
While we were trying to figure out the nickname, those certainly look like some Viking horns that was on the side of that helmet running past us.
It could be a travel team, maybe a box lacrosse team. Everest Academy came down about 10 days ago to play North Allegheny, and they had a ton of box lacrosse players. Ball down below the goal line to the right for Hill Academy. Now on the near wing, it's Nolan Sanderson. Sanderson had a brother who is now playing collegiately. That's a shot and a miss. And
that was 77. Vincent Ward with the cyclone shot behind, spinning around.
So one possession either way, a turnover and a shot missed. As we're about 2 minutes into this first quarter, scoreless. For St. Clair on the move. A little cross check. They'll come near side to Oscar Limecoller. Bywalski, way out top of the formation, Evan Proud. He's 25 yards away from cage. Bywalski, 20.
He's got room to his left, Bywalski, if he switches.
He does switch. Good call, comes into the middle. There's a good slide defensively on a switch. That was Luke Cleland. He chases Bywalski around. The defense, the man-to-man, is well spread out for Hill Academy.
We saw the Panthers do this last night.
Bonomo spins offhand shot, Kevin. The lefty with the right-handed offhand shot from the right wing. Panthers have the backup. You know that Bonomo likes that basket net side from that right wing. That's a beauty. Walking out after the backup. It's Holden Rickle, and he shovels it in for the first goal in this one.
Well, they got the quick restart from X-Bob, and the Panthers are going to get the first one of this match as they got the restart in the end zone. And we're just able to use the two-man game behind at X. And he's able to get just over GLE with the left-handed shot. Tough, really acute angle right there, but he makes it work by going left-handed. Beats Aiden Kello, and the Panthers have the 1-0 lead.
Rickle had the hat trick yesterday, plus an assist against Norwin. That is goal number 17 on the season for Holden Rickle. That's the team lead. He was tied with Nate Haberman, and he can score in many different ways. Faceoff goes to Hill Academy. They work it now on the left side. Vincent Ward will dish it off. And Ward plays catch with Ryan Bomberry, and it comes back. Bomberry playing catch with Sanderson. Bomberry looks for a return pass, gets it. Good catch, good shot, good finish. And they work it just like that. Hill Academy ties the game at 1.
Well, they had good spacing, Bob, and they went down the left side with just a well-executed give and go. He started on the dodge, passed it to the wing, and he continued on the dodge. Passed it right over as he got a step on the defender, and he went with the bouncer inside that far right post. Hill Academy ties it at 1 with some good offense.
Ryan Baumberry off a Vincent Ward assist. That was 34 seconds after the Panthers took a 1-0 lead. Another face-off, another draw control for Hill Academy, as they've just tied the game. That goal at 3:11.
Tyler Holt took that one for the Panthers instead of Sully Mayfield.
And we've seen Holt a couple times yesterday, and Mayfield is the primary fogo.
Yeah, Mayfield won that first one, Bob, with a good hike between his legs, and then he used his body to box out like in basketball. So you see the different types of sports that can transition into this.
Nolan Sanderson on the move. Big time. Hits the crossbar on the left wing. That rebound comes all the way off the crossbar and out of bounds. Should be Panthers' ball. Not sure why the referee gave it to Hill. I don't think that was a save. It's a shot, so I guess they get the backup right on the rebound. So that's the correct call then, even though the backup came 25 yards away from goal.
There's
another pass. Yep, good defense that time. Great stick work there by Cooper Rackley to dislodge. Comes in front, turnover, wide open, empty net goal. Just like that, they find the basket of Kyle Cleland, and he makes it 2-1.
Well, the quick restart again, and then the scramble as Newton is out of the cage and all alone in front. It doesn't get much easier. You're going to give good teams an opportunity like that. Even bad teams are going to put that one away. It's just the defense did not rotate down the cover. So right in front of the crease for the tap in, 2-1 lead for the Hill Academy. And Bob, I'm going to correct myself. That is not a Viking horn. It's some sort of Pegasus wing type thing on their helmet.
Third consecutive draw control. The goal for Kyle Cleland, the assist for Gage Thompson. The Panthers were that close to making a nice defensive play and getting possession, but Hill Academy got the ball in the empty net. Goal, and they score again in quick succession. Evan Miller, and Upper St. Clair is going to take a timeout with 3 quick goals for Hill Academy. This one coming at 4:38, so 23 seconds after they made it 2-1, they make it 3-1.
Well, that's the thing about this sport, Bob. You can get on a run if you continue to win at X after scoring a goal. And Hill has won, and they've executed really well. That time they ran a little cut and then a curl behind it, and it was a good feed from below GLE to the player coming down the left alley and a good finish. And just like that, it's 3-1.
Good passing on all 3 of their goals. Make it take it, right? You win the draw.
So keep winning at X. That's a problem. You got to play good defense. And they're executing good offense. That's, Bob, if you're the Panthers, you can go to school a little bit on this, right? You're going to give up some good goals on some good plays. You can pull some of those plays out and use them later on.
Upper St. Clair Boys of Lacrosse on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Brought to you by our presenting partner, GS Jones, Western Pennsylvania's premier disaster restoration company, restoring your property and your peace of mind. Rickle got the first. Ryden Baumberry, Kyle Cleland, and Evan Miller have scored the next 3 for Hill Academy to take a 3-1 lead. Still, we have 7:22 to go in this first quarter. Mayfield back out on the draw. The Fogo Porter Crossman. He's a Saskatchewan native. Got 2 of those listed on their roster. They've also got a Seneca Nation and one from Nova Scotia.
One from Rochester, New York also.
That'd be Luke Judson, right?
Yeah, midfielder, number 82.
So spread out a little bit. Primarily Ontario, 95% of the roster.
And just for the audience, this is their varsity JV team. They have a prep team that has fantastic players with numerous college commitments. You were checking that out.
They've had a straight JV team as well, played earlier. And this is, again, a floater. So multiple teams on multiple sports for the prep schools like Everest and Hill in Canada. They've got another possession and another offensive set coming. Bomberry goes down the left wing, looks for a return pass and does. Had a cutter down the middle, but couldn't get it to Kyle Cleland. They get a goal anyway. I believe it's number 2. Ryden Bomberry.
Well, Bob, that was just a good dodge right there. He kind of faked turning upfield, spun back towards GLA, and just beat his defender on the dodge. And from a really tough angle, beat Newton to make it 4-1.
He had looked for a cutter, Kevin, none to be had. So he took matters into his own hand, and Ryden Bomberry has his second at 5:31, and it's a 4-1 lead now for Hill Academy. They've scored 4 unanswered.
The Wings are going to get in here and help win possession here for the Panthers. It's up for grabs. Got to get a GB.
Comes back to the Fogo, who gets the draw control, and Porter Crossman. Well, he takes that's a cross check to the head. And there's the flag. He's on the move. Pass the flex around, bounces to Newton, who clamps down on it, and that's going to give Hill Academy a man-up situation. They're going to go EPO. It should be a 1-minute penalty. Although we're across from the table.
Per usual.
It's a hold. They call a hold. Looks like Sully Mayfield is the man taking the knee.
St. Clair penalty on number 10, Sully Mayfield. The Hill Academy is a man up.
So Hill with a 4-1 lead. 4 unanswered. They go. Player up. Cut. Save. Big time. Newton hit the post a little bit too. That was a good cut and a good pass. And the shot came from Nolan Sanderson. Panthers now with possession. They throw it up to Cooper Rackley, who'll come near side to Johnny DeSora. What a big game. 2 goals and assists yesterday after committing to Westminster, and a chance to kill this man disadvantage for Upper St. Clair.
Bob, that cutter came from the top of the formation, and he ran right off the pick of the guy in the middle, who was sometimes referred to as the bumper in hockey. Said a good pick for that cutter, and he was wide open.
Penalty is over, so it just was a 30-second penalty. And we're even up. Chance for Upper St. Clair. Right in front of us, it's Bywalski cradling.
He doesn't want to go to his left hand. He's got a lot of room down the sideline.
Cuts to the right. He's the runner designate for the Panthers. Bywalski right now is a Sacred Heart football commit. Also had a St. Francis offer, but that complexion changed with St. Francis dropping to D3. There's a good pass and an open shot for Proud, but he misses, and the backup goes to Hill Academy.
Yeah, Nolan Sanderson on the backup quickly. He was defending back there, Bob. They didn't just leave him there. Now he's on the clear.
He runs into a triple team at
The
the
ambush.
logo. Good job to dislodge and to create the ground ball, which is scooped up by Oscar Limecoller. So a CT and a GB for the Panthers. Limecoller was limping. I thought he was couldn't tell if he was limping or something. Look at that shifty pass. And a better save. Bonomo put the moves on, but Aiden Kello with a fantastic save to deny Bonomo.
The right leg save that, well, still doesn't feel good, but it probably feels better than yesterday.
No doubt.
It was freezing.
Ground ball, and that's a good job to push it forward. Can the Panthers get it? It's going to go out of bounds, but who is it off? Kello thought about running over to get it, and it's off of Hill, so it's Upper St. Clair possession.
Under 4 minutes.
Bonomo starts. He'll roll it to Evan Proud. Look at this.
Takes
a knee like an infielder. Although some coaches will not be happy when you take a ground ball on the knee. It's Charlie Limecoller dodging left. Fires. He had room. Misses the far post, and the backup this time is provided by Luke Cleland for Hill Academy.
The defenders for Hill are
It's rare, right?
really good at getting the backups.
Normally the offensive team gets
impressive.
most of the backups. So possession on the near wing. That's the right wing for Bowen Downey. And he plays catch on the near side. Spinning the ball is Kyle Cleland, pair of Cleland brothers. They are from Carlisle in Ontario. Attacking down the far side is Sebastian Dan Elon. He comes back to Cleland. Top of the formation, that is Charlie Packard He shifts to the left wing and flips it below the goal. They'll come out.
Oh.
That's good pass. Vincent Ward in front to Bowen Downey for the tap in. It's 5-1 Hill Academy.
Bob, that was a no-look pass across the goal mouth as Ward was running top side from behind, and it was a good cut by 33 for Hill Academy. That is Bowen Downey who gets the dunk.
9:13 at the time of that goal. It's 5 unanswered now for Hill Academy. After Upper St. Clair. Rickle scored at 2:37, but it's been all Hill Academy. They've got another draw control. Their passing is crisp, to say the least.
So is their movement on offense.
They've got Nolan Sanderson, the midfielder, right down in front of us here at Boyce Middle School. Off the bench, there's a personnel change. Look at that. Little hacky sack type catch by
Took it
their
like
player.
a soccer ball on his
knee up
thigh.
into his basket, right? Well, that's pretty good
That's
handwork by Bomberry. Has 2 goals, Ryden Bomberry.
It's just showing off.
Sanderson on the left wing for Hill Academy. Dumps it down low. That pass off the mark. And it's scooped up by Tyler Newton. Chance for transition. Good stick work to knock that down. Panthers are still on it. It was knocked down initially by Gage Thompson. Now Gianni DeSora running down the far sideline in front of the benches in transition. He's got room. Does he have an angle? Does he have an outlet? He does pass it to Haberman, who has to fight for the ground ball. Still fighting for the ground ball. Still rolling to the out of bounds on the near corner. You can see the sun setting behind the press box here.
Possession to the Hill
Possession
Academy.
Hill Academy. That's a chance, right, when you want to take advantage of transition like that. Just couldn't get a pass to the front of the net. That's Evan Miller running. Still running with it is Miller. He's got a goal in this game. Pass up the far side and turning down the left side is Ward. He's got a couple of assists. Near side, it's a setup for Bowen Downey, who's got the last goal. Downey to Cleland, Kyle Cleland, walking in, a beautiful move and score. Sebastian Denilon.
Well, that was just very quick, Bob. I mean, they were clearing down the left side, and he just slammed on the brakes, and 2 Panthers went running right past him, changed direction to the middle, and then they attacked on the right side, and it was all of a sudden all alone in front of Newton. They got speed and quickness.
Shifty moves in front too by Sebastian Danilon. The Orangeville native, he gets his first, 6 unanswered. This ball's kicked forward, now pushed forward. And they'd get the face-off, as that was Jack Mullins who pushed it up to Bowen Downey. They've got a chance for the final possession, Hill Academy, leading 6-1.
Under 40 seconds.
There is Sanderson. He's at the logo. Clock is inside of 30 now. So patient, right? You're looking for one shot. Sanderson waiting for the staff to tell him when to move. They've got a personnel change. The defender for Upper St. Clair is Enzo Pantano. Sanderson dodges left, flips left, gets the return pass on the give and go. Save Newton. That's a big save late for Tyler Newton. Not sure if there's enough time. Ball is loose, and that'll do it for the first quarter. Good start for the Panthers. Better finish for Hill Academy, as the Academy scored 6 unanswered, and after 1, it's Hill Academy 6, Upper St. Clair nothing. You're watching coverage of Upper St. Clair boys lacrosse on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Adam Goodnack, and I'm a student in Seton Hill University's Wukich School of Nursing. I did my clinical rounds throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, and it strengthened my belief in the path that I chose. I could really feel that I was making an impact. The faculty in my coursework at Seton Hill has prepared me to dive right into my field. I've received personalized support and expert guidance. I'm moving forward as a nurse of tomorrow at Seton Hill University.
The Rebel Yell podcast is your go-to resource for all things baseball and softball this spring. Host Don Rebel brings you 4 weekly podcasts featuring the best players and teams in the league, as well as an in-depth look at the current standings. Don't miss out on this exciting content. Catch it all on Trib, hssn.triblive.com, or on Spotify.
Broadcasting high school sports in Western Pennsylvania for 25 years, this is the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Back at Boyce Middle School, coverage of Upper St. Clair boys lacrosse on Trib HSSN. Brought to you by our gold partner, Brentwood Bank, the official banking partner of the Panthers, with 5 convenient locations in the South Hills. 6-1, Hill Academy. Kevin, you made a great point during the commercial break. Flipping the script from last night's game against Norwin for the Panthers. Unfortunately for the Panthers.
Norwin scored first last night, and then it was the 13-goal onslaught for the Panthers. And during that stretch where the Panthers were running it up, Bob, we were talking about how the 3 attackmen for the Knights were just kind of standing around watching, and that's what's happening for the Panthers there. Bonomo and Lime Cooler and Haberman are just kind of hanging out watching as their team defends just a ruthlessly efficient offense by the Hill Academy with great spacing, attackmen and middies with speed and shiftiness, and they know what they're going to do as soon as they get the ball.
My partner dropping the perfect accolade. Ruthlessly efficient is a well-used description of how they played in that first quarter. So the flip-flop, it's right to left for Hill Academy with Kello in goal to our right. Newton has the sun for the second quarter. Face-off win. Really no surprise there. They've dominated the X. Hill trying to get a shot. That's good defense by DeSora. We've got a long stick out there. And now he goes off. That's Garnet Schultz. And the personnel change comes off the bench for Hill Academy. It's Gage Thompson who has the ball. And now more personnel changes on both sides. The second man off the bench for Hill is Ryan Bomberry. Ryden Bomberry. Still got 2 goals, looking for the hat trick. Sanderson, he seems to be the trigger. Maybe the distributor, he makes it go.
They have to watch about broken cross.
And running off is Bywalski. The yard sale. The ball goes out of bounds. Fortunately, that doesn't cost the Panthers. And then that basket in the shaft still right there on the field.
Logan Lipinski had the run on, so he was paying attention to be the sub, and he has it in his cross right now.
That's broken right in half. Lipinski with a goal and assist yesterday. He takes a whack from Sanderson as Lipinski comes down the right side. They set up one of the few times they've been able to set up since the opening goal, which Rickle scored. It's Proud off the bench.
You need to value the ball and possession for a bit.
We were saying that yesterday, right, with Norwin trying to get their defenders a chance to rest. And they didn't do a very good job of it until later in the game. And a 16-5 win for Upper St. Clair over Norwin yesterday. Panthers below the goal line right. That's Bonomo. His pass in front too hard. He had a man there. It was Charlie Limecoller, but that's a turnover. And coming the other way is Hill in transition. That pass, that might have been in the sun. The second player, though, scoops it up. That second player being Bowen Downey, who has a goal.
If you notice, Bob, all the players for Hill, they fit the same physical profile, don't they? They're very, very similar, all of them. Same height, ability to run.
It's really good defense by Amorosa. The ability to run and the passing, right?
The stick
and
skills.
The movement, it's
the
evident.
IQ.
That's why these players from Hill go next level. They're on the move. A bouncer wide is coming right to left, taking that shot was Kenyon Shenandoah, who misses. He tried to shoot back against the green.
Well, it just shows you where Western Pennsylvania lacrosse is on the evolutionary scale, right? I mean, certain areas were way ahead, and that includes Ontario
and Eastern PA,
right?
Which we find out here in the WPL when the state playoffs come around.
The hotbeds, the Maryland area. Is that one in?
Yeah, tapping in front. The pass comes.
And
he's in the crease. Vincent Ward was called for a crease violation, but there's that pass for the dunk, as you call it again.
Yeah, the cross crease pass for the easy tap in on the doorstep. But to finish the thought, we're talking about the Maryland area.
Right, New England, upstate New York.
Yeah, upstate, near Ontario, Eastern PA, Jersey, New England. Now it's spreading out across the country.
Yes, they did say that Johnny DeSora got across the 30, so the Panthers can enact their personnel changes. We were 6-1 after one. We played 3 minutes and 15 seconds here in the second quarter. The score remains the same. That is Charlie Limecoller off the bench. Good steal, just a clean swipe by Evan Miller. So that ends that possession, and Limecoller has to go right back to the bench. A 4-second shift for Charlie Limecoller.
2 passes from the far sideline to the middle of the field to the near sideline, a touch of the restraining box, and they're back on the attack, making their subs offensively. It's well drilled.
Sub package, and usually we've seen it end up with Nolan Sanderson, and he's got it. Flips it on to the right wing for Hill Academy, where Kyle Cleveland attacks. He's got a goal in this one. He takes a shot. Another crease violation.
Hit the intersection of the crossbar and the post.
Nunes, I thought it might hit his helmet too, because he was fixing that, but
could have been one of those things.
Everything was at that intersection over there. Here's a run out of his own zone by Beck Shields, the captain, the long stick. Look, he's trying to bowl his way over the 30. He does. Keep going, Beck. It's weird you get those long stick chances in the O-zone, right? He's going to come off. They're going to change. If you have a clear lane, right, that's normally when you see it happen with a shot with the long poles. Ball comes to Evan Proud. He sets the Panther offense up from the logo.
Proud, bigger than the defenders, is going to be able to use his physicality if he gets a chance in the box there near the crease.
And that's what Rickle uses to his advantage, that 6'4" frame with the leverage. Bonomo, below the goal line right, comes out to the right side. Turning. Oh, he had room, the near post. He just missed, and the backup provided by Cooper Campbell.
That's one Bonomo has to finish, right? He hasn't had a lot of touches. He makes a good run to get up field past GLE, and he had that corner. And again, just knowing when to be back there. They get the backup after the missed shot.
Oh, and Sanderson taking a whole bunch of contact. Knows he has some certain amount of time to get it in. He just flipped it, little throw and hope that Kyle Cleveland would get there. That's a turnover for Hill Academy.
He got ambushed at the 45.
You need more of that if you're Panthers, trailing by 5. And a 1-0 lead on a Holden Rickle goal. Bomberry with 2. Kyle Cleveland, Evan Miller, Bowen Downey, and Sebastian Danilon have goals for Hill. There's Rickle, bouncer, and taking that away is Hayden Kello with a second save. So Rickle makes a good move to get space, but Kello handles the task in goal for Hill Academy.
I think that's what you need to see. You need to see Bonomo, Rickle, and
good stick. Bobby Fleckenstein makes a great play to deflect the shot. Rebound, though, trying to come out is Hill Academy. Pass comes up, a spin in traffic. Bobby Fleckenstein, by the way, is headed to John Carroll
good snag
to play football. And that is Holden. No, excuse me, that's Proud.
That's the third name I was searching for.
Steal and a turnover. And a flag coming. That's going to be against Ryan Bomberry. Shooting high is Rickle. Stopped by Kello, and Upper St. Clair is going to go man up for the first time. 62 with a slash, 1 minute against Ryden Bomberry. Now a big opportunity to get their second goal for Upper St. Clair with an EPO.
Proud, Rickle, Bonomo with their size, Bywalski with the speed. They have to be the leaders of the attempted comeback here. 5:35 on the clock.
Charlie Bywalski at the top of the formation, guarded by Dash Adams. What a fantastic name, the long stick defender. Comes to Bonomo. Adams knocks Bywalski down, and Adams is going to get a flag. He knocked Proud down, excuse me. So the Panthers get a chance to get up. Good save.
Fantastic.
Bywalski fired, and good job by Aiden Kello to follow that. We're going to get extra flags because a hat goes up. So we've got a whole bunch to sort out here. 2 flags are down and a hat as well. The first penalty was going to go against Hill Academy, but we'll see what happens after that.
Second one's going against Proud, I believe.
The retaliation. He's the one who got knocked down. The player initial penalty should be against Adams.
I think they took that one from the Invincibles. Dash. Wasn't that the kid's name in the movie? From The Incredibles, sorry. I said the Invincibles, Bob. It was the Incredibles.
So it is the initial penalty, Dash Adams. And you're right, Kevin. Proud takes a knee for Upper St. Clair. That might even the second pair of penalties out. Again, we're across the way, so can't tell what's going on. Just know that the initial penalty still has time left. And that was right in Baumberry. So he's still on a knee across the way. But unfortunately for the Panthers, possession will come for Hill Academy at midfield.
I see 4 black jerseys across midfield and 5 white.
I heard someone say, did you hear the referee said offsetting?
But there's 2 kneeling.
Right, so you think the Proud and Adams penalties are offsetting? Would that make sense, right?
Yeah, so Hill is man down. Panthers are man up.
With that initial penalty.
Yes.
Short-handed bouncer. Good job. It was a change-up from Vincent Ward that Newton tracked. Here comes the Sora in transition. We've got another flag, another penalty coming up against Hill Academy. We've devolved into mid-'80s hockey. Although lacrosse in itself, especially box lacrosse, if you watch the NLL, it might be the most physical of all the sports. Didn't see him coming from behind. You heard him late. Rickle didn't see the long pole coming from behind, and Garnet Schultz dislodges, but it's going to be another penalty against Hill Academy. That's Sanderson who's going to take a knee, or is he just coming off? So Panthers will stay man up after this gets all sorted out. This all taking place with the clock ticking to 4:27 to go before halftime. It was 6-1 Hill Academy after the first quarter. We've had no scoring yet in quarter number 2.
There are 2 black jerseys taking a knee.
It's Charlie Packard who gets the penalty. That was an offensive penalty after the Newton save. So it's a 5-on-4. Yes, it is. Quick ball movement. Charlie Limecoller, Bonomo, Rickle. Now a man comes on, so Rickle bouncer. Wow, that's denied. How about Aiden Kello, Kevin?
Kello is tracking it well. He holds that basket to the left side, and he has picked off quite a few. Very impressive in the cage.
Transition, long stick pass, no one home.
Through to the official.
The man was there, and it was intended for Bowen Downey, but he vacated. And that was a long pole rush in transition from Garnet Schultz for Hill Academy. Upper St. Clair rolls it to Newton. Now Morosa, far side. Coming into the middle, trying to run. It's Bywalski. Splits 2. Nice for Charlie Bywalski. Across the 30. Oscar Limecoller on the left wing. It's Proud, and now back to Bywalski. Penalties are all done. So everything is now back to its normal number of players either way. Still stays 6-1, though. Charlie Limecoller dodging, redodging, moving to his left. Good slide by Hill. That's a nice job defensively by Brody Haynes. There's a shot. Good one, but it missed. That was Bywalski. Back up. Stays in play, actually. Bonomo keeps it alive. It actually hit the Hill Academy defender below the goal line. Bywalski, bouncer Lime Kohler misses. That backup is by Evan Proud. Proud works left goal line extended. Lime Kohler to Lime Kohler. That was Oscar to Charlie. Bonomo on the right wing has a screen and a pick. Gets in.
Oh,
And a save. Another save by Aiden Kello. And just in case you can beat this tough defense, Kevin,
Yeah.
you got to try to solve Aiden Kello.
You probe and probe and probe for an opportunity to get the cage, and one of your best scorers walks in, and then you got to beat Kello, who has probably 7 saves.
Good ground ball. Transition by Walski. Steps over. Maybe try to take a shot at running it to the net instead of getting the personnel change. Rickle comes on. He's got the only goal for the Panthers. That was the first goal of the game. The next 6 in the first quarter all came from Hill Academy. No scoring again in this quarter. Clock is at 1:50 before halftime.
Yeah, Bob, that's a good point. I mean, it's 6-1, but if it wasn't for Kello, I mean,
Probably 6-4.
it's probably at least 6-4 if it was a normal goaltending play. He's been exceptional.
And they get the defensive ground ball, and Kello picks it up. It was Luke Cleveland initially. His brother Kyle has a goal, and then Kello starts the transition, and here it comes on the move. Good stick work by Fleckenstein. He deflects the pass intended for Charlie Packard.
Kello is a class of 28. So he's young. We'll remember that name in the future if you and I are watching some games on college in the future.
Which we are wont to do.
We do a lot. We might see that name making some saves.
Hill Academy working it in the zone to the left. They have not scored in this quarter. They hit the inside of the post. Did that go in? It did go in.
It bounced out, and it was number 9.
Charlie Packard gets the rebound. The shot was taken initially by Baumberry. So when it's going your way, it's going your way.
Yeah, that's kind of a summarization of it right there. It was a couple of strides above GLE with the right-handed shot towards the left post, Bob, and it hit the post, bounced right to Packard, who was standing in front. He was able to catch it, deposit it into the open net. And there's been a few – it's a contrast in the goals, right? There's been a few open net, easy ones for the Hill Academy. And St. Clair has to really work to get a chance, and then Aiden Kello makes the saves and denies them, and it's really frustrating offensively for the Panthers.
Goal came at 11:16 of the second quarter. The only goal so far in quarter number 2. Panthers with a late chance. DeSora down the right side with 20 seconds left. Gianni DeSora, good timeout for Upper St. Clair. Will give us a chance to let you know that the silver partner bringing you Upper St. Clair boys lacrosse on Trib HSSN is Everest Infrastructure Partners, wireless infrastructure solutions for connecting our world. We're talking about college lacrosse. We already lined up our viewing for the weekend, for the Easter weekend.
I got through all of my games from last weekend today, and Big Ten rivalry week, some good ones Friday night.
Tough stretch here for the Panthers, right? You mentioned Kiski over the weekend. Then they take care of Norwin in section. But Hill Academy and Mars, even though Mars is 2A, Mars is the top program in Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's a stretch, really, Bob. It started with South Fayette. Really
Agreed.
good 2A team. They
What
lost
a fantastic game that was.
Terrific game to watch. 2 overtime loss to South Fayette. Then they play Shadyside where they lose. Shadyside perennially one of the better teams in this area. Then NA, who's always good, maybe a little down this year, but still a good program. Plum, not so good. Kiski, fantastic prep team. Norwin, then down. Then you get to Hill and Mars, who's the best team in the area, usually.
That prepares you for the postseason. 19 seconds to make it work here in the second quarter for Upper St. Clair. They should start to the near sideline. Bonomo will. He's 10 yards off, actually. Now 13. So you got a set play. Here it goes. It's Proud. It's Rickle. High pass, left side. Rickle comes right. Rickle on the move with 8, with 6. He'll shoot. And another save for Aiden Kello. Rebound to Bywalski. Can he get another shot? He's got to hurry. No good. Doesn't get it off. And we reach halftime with your score. Hill Academy 7 and Upper St. Clair 1. We'll take a break and then we'll be silent and we'll be back for the second half of the third quarter as you are watching coverage of Upper St. Clair boys lacrosse. All brought to you tonight on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Hi, my name is Bobby McVeigh. I'm a registered dietetic technician and a Highmark Health employee. After my daughter started classes at Seton Hill, I was inspired to enroll for myself. The flexibility of the online bachelor's degree program gave me the final nudge to take this step. Seton Hill is dedicated to making a difference in people's lives, and it's already made a difference in mine. Learn more about online degrees and certificates at setonhill.edu/online.
You can shop for pretty much anything online. Clothes, food, vacations, you name it. All without ever leaving the comfort of your couch. Finally, banking can be just that easy too. With the all-new FMB e-store, you can shop for hundreds of financial products to manage your money. All from the comfort of your couch. From clicks to bricks, we've got you covered. Experience the FMB e-store in branch, on your phone, or online at fmb-online.com.
Broadcasting high school sports in Western Pennsylvania for 25 years, this is the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Getting set for the start of the second half. You can see the score on your screen. Hill Academy 7, Upper St. Clair 1. Panthers got a goal from Holden Rickle, and then 7 in a row, 6 in the first quarter. The only goal in the second quarter for Charlie Packard on a rebound with 44 seconds left. 7-1 for Hill Academy in this one, with Kevin Zomanski and Bob Orquist, Jess Levo producing our broadcast. We are at the Boyce Middle School today for this contest. Which is a pretty nice facility.
It's better than some of the high school facilities.
It's very correct.
It's a full-fledged football field, 100 yards, painted, turf, and the lacrosse lines are drawn on it. And, Bob, we talked about the reverse of last night's game versus Norwin is exactly like that, right? A lot of scoring in the first. It was a 7-goal run for the Hill Academy after the Panthers struck first. And even though the score looks kind of lopsided, first of all, the Hill Academy's been impressive offensively.
Second of all, you can thank Aiden Kello for that, as we've been talking about, right?
But then
he's eliminated most of all the good opportunities from Upper St. Clair.
Upper St. Clair started doing some things offensively, but they ran into the brick wall that is Aiden Kello, who has made some fantastic saves.
Second night in a row, you and I and everyone who's watching and everyone attending gets to see Nick Volpat in goal for Upper St. Clair. He made 3 saves against Norwin in the second half. Can the Panthers start with a draw control? They will, with Gianni DeSora. So that's a change because Hill in the first half dominated at the X. And across the 30 to reset, that's Oscar Limecoller, that's Proud, and then that's Rickle. That's usually the rotation. Although Bonomo is also in that 3-man sub package for the Panthers.
Is this Bonomo?
Yeah, it is. We don't see that a lot, right?
No,
sorry. It's Charlie Limecoller. I apologize. Ryan's in his office on the right wing. My apologies.
Maybe he wants to move a little too to try to come towards the ball.
Rickle's on the move. Switches hands, bounces it. And Haberman has the backup for the Panthers. Yeah, I was surprised as well, but that was a misidentification by me.
As I've been saying, I think Rickle and Proud, with their size and ability to be physical with these defenders for the Hill Academy, they have some size advantage on them. Bonomo, too, they're going to have to be the spearhead of the offense right here.
Bonomo had it. He's a Merrimack commit. That is Charlie Limecoller, drops it but picks it up. He's guarded there defensively by Landon to Pete David. There's another shot. This time the rebound ends up. Look at Aiden Kello. Oscar's all over him. Kello just throws it over the back. Bonomo's going to pick it up. Can Kello get back? Empty netted Bonomo from 20 just missed.
Why not?
That's the right move. You have the backup too, but there was no way Kello was getting back. And Bonomo, he could snipe from there.
Oscar Limecoller with a big forced turnover right there. So got to credit him.
Right, he forced Kello all the way to that far corner.
Bonomo needed to pull that trigger when he got to the middle.
Dumps it off, so reset for the Panthers. So we're 2 minutes into this third quarter. 7-1 lead for Hill Academy. Oscar Limecoller dodging, passing below. Rickle walks out, goes up high.
Guess who?
Eliminated again by Aiden Kello.
Is really unbelievable. I don't like using that word. It's impressive.
He's classified as a freshman.
Impressive in the goal crease today, making save after save. And Bob,
it's why it's 7-1. It's all Aiden Kello.
If he is the goalie on the second team, how good is the goalie on the prep team?
It's a great question. We'll get an email from Graham Hosick, who's the head coach, not here today. He's on the Halifax T-Birds in the NOL, the Archers LAX, and the PLL. Player of the Year. He played at Lindenwood, by the way.
Didn't know they had it down in Missouri.
He was.
There's a snipe.
Turning. It's goal number 2 of the game for Holden Rickle and number 2 for the Panthers. Rickle's snipe comes with 9:11 showing. So 2:49 of the third quarter makes it 7-2.
We got it on the wing, Bob, and he sized it up on the dodge. He went to the left hand and he spun around in the cyclone to the right hand, and he fired that one with a sidewinder shot up high, stung that far corner. Good shot by Rickle. Hits his second.
Brings the Panthers within 5 at 7-2.
And they got possession.
And that draw, that's a nice Fogo win for Tyler Holt. Two-time ECAC Specialist of the Year was Graham Hossick at Lindenwood. He was their first ever first-team All-American as well. But it's Cameron Accioni, Matt Accioni, and Connor Gillis running the show.
It's amazing how some of the schools are connected between lacrosse and hockey, because Lindenwood's a recent varsity Division I hockey program too.
They find Haberman at the near post, but he goes to shoot it, and he regathered. When he went to shoot it, he lost it. It's going to be a chance for the Panthers to retain, though. They'll come to Oscar Limecoller. He'll track it down near sideline.
Bob, this is a good offensive possession, extended possession, right? They score, they get the face off, and they're back on the attack.
Make it, take it. Need to score after getting the draw control. It's Evan Proud, Oscar Limecoller, Haberman.
I like to see Bonomo use the pick game to get free a little. Somebody sent him a pick.
There was a Mars player, I can't remember his name. It was a Lindenwood commit, I believe.
Yes. There's a Bellarmine one, too.
Oscar on the move. Finds a cutter. Lipinski scores! Takes the feed from Oscar Limecoller, and that's 2 in a row for the Panthers to make it 7-3.
And look at Limecoller on the 30-yard line, Bob. He's exhausted from all the running he's been doing. But what a tremendous feed by Oscar Limecoller. Find Lipinski circling the crease and getting the catch and finish. Finally, with 2 consecutive goals to solve the goalkeeper, Kello.
Draw control, really for the first time in this quarter, a chance for Hill to set up offensively. That goal came at 4:14. Lipinski's 5th from Limecoller, Oscar Limecoller. And off the bench to the ball, Gage Thompson. By the way, Kyle Cleveland has a goal for Hill Academy's. Nick Dupp does not look like he's not probable, so questionable to return. Kyle Cleveland. That's Gage Thompson below the goal line. Falls down. He actually fell on the stick of Rackley, and that's a penalty.
Rackley's going to get a trip.
Yeah, it's going to be a trip. I thought it was the turf monster. It turned out to be the long stick of Cooper Rackley that caused Gage Thompson to fall down. That's very good, Brandon. So left side, the cut, the give and go, and the goal.
We've seen that play before.
We have. Ryan Bomberry from Vincent Ward to make it 8-3.
So the Hill does a good job of moving the attackman to the right side and then leaving one on the far side as they get out of the way, create some space. You can see them moving. And then it's just a pass on a 45-degree angle and then a cut and pass back, basically forming what would, if you would draw it on a teleshow, it would look like a right angle by the time he catches it, and then the finish.
Hat trick for Ryden Bomberry and a hat trick of assists for Vincent Ward. And you still go man up because unlike hockey,
the goal doesn't wipe it out.
The goal does not wipe off the penalty. So EPO for Hill Academy. If the Panthers win the draw, they could kill off this disadvantage with Oscar Limecoller, who's got his breath back and a Gatorade. But his pass too tall for DeSora, and the Panthers will turn it over.
Could have run out a little bit more time on that man down situation for the Panthers right there, instead of trying to
Oscar
connect.
Could have kept going, right?
Yes.
Could have ducked down below the goal line. On the move, Hill. Passing again. Long stick goal. Winding up, firing it in, second of the game for Evan Miller. And the 2 Panther goals, it's Garnet Schultz, I apologize, not Evan Miller. So the 2-goal bulge by the Upper St. Clair is answered. Charlie Packard, who has a goal, gets an assist.
This came right down the middle of the park. The D did not slide to stop him. That's what happens when you have shooters, but Panthers allowed the long stick midi to run right down the middle and get the finish.
Garnett Schultz gets the goal. Packard with the assist comes at 5:47. So the little bit of momentum that Upper St. Clair had gotten scoring 2 in a row erased.
Short-lived.
That's a man-up goal as well for Hill Academy, and they've got possession again. And they'll bounce it out towards midfield. Nolan Sanderson. Sanderson to Bomberry, right in Bomberry with a hat trick. Sanderson starts from midfield against Cooper Rackley. Slides left, passes in front, turn, switch of the hands, and a finish for Gage Thompson.
The Hill goal. Number 12, Gage Thompson.
Was that a twisty?
Indeed.
Turned the hand over, threw the little backhand there with an impressive display. Again, offensively. Down the left alley, they slid towards him, and he caught it right-handed and shot it left-handed with another efficient goal offensively for the Hill Academy.
So the Panthers scored 2 goals in about a minute and a half. And then Hill Academy answered with 3 in a minute and 15. And so 7-3 now becomes 10-3. And a whistle and a procedure against Hill Academy on the draw, and possession for the Panthers, trailing by 7. That's Bonomo, Ryan Bonomo. Spinning out, Ryan Bonomo. I mentioned he's headed to Merrimack.
He's got 2 long stick
studying
defenders.
neuroscience. Ryan Bonomo playing for Team USA in the summer. Also a hockey player at Upper St. Clair. Bonomo, part of the Brogdon Cup championship team for a team in Maryland. The 5th straight year they've won that. There's an outlet, too high, but they're going to be able to run it down. And they're going to turn transition through the middle. Sidewinding shot, it's in. Sebastian Danilon makes it 11-3, Danilon second.
Well, even when they don't connect on the pass in the clear, it rolled right to a Hill Academy attackman, and then they get into their offense very quickly, as you said. Transition after the GB, right down the middle again. And the left alley, just too much space, and he finishes again on the run.
So here's the key to that. So they have an errant pass, they being Hill Academy Kevin, but they scoop it up.
Right.
And so Danilon, instead of sulking, for lack of a better term, just runs down the middle of the field, and they find him when they scoop up the ground ball. And that creates the goal. So just stay with it, even though you were close to turning it over. Transition again as Luke Cleland is on the move. He's defended by DeSora. And Cleland finds Garnett Schultz, a pair of long poles. And then they're going to both go out of the zone, and the personnel package will change for Hill Academy, leading 11-3.
I think it's a good point you make there, Bob. It's right the next play. So instead of being disappointed or missing the clearing pass, he just turned and immediately joined the offense and gets the pass for the goal.
Off the bench to the ball, Charlie Packard, who has a goal. Shot. Oh, good save. Staying with it to make that save was Nick Volpat for Upper St. Clair, and he covers up the rebound.
Sora with some good feet right there.
Near side, he plays catch with Ryan Pop. Pass through the middle, bounces, good catch. It actually ends up with Charlie Limecoller. Both Limecollers on the left wing for the Panthers. Inside the 30, so they can affect the personnel change if need be. Proud looking to come off the bench. He's got the ball for USC. Bonomo, right wing. X to Oscar Limecoller, below the goal line left. Holden Rickle, he's got 2 of the 3 Panther goals. Rickle with 2, Lipinski the other. Bonomo, good slide, double team. That was the right pass, but they were double teaming the return pass either way. Who's got this ball? It's Hill Academy's Cooper Campbell. Campbell's outlet finds Evan Miller. He's on the run for the Academy. Pass near side. That will go personnel. No need. Return pass. Miller passed it to Kyle Cleveland. Back to Miller. His second to make it 12-3.
Well, Bob, that started with an excellent double team of Bonomo on the pick game where they forced him to take a step back and make a pass that missed. And then, Bob, how many Hill Academy players are just going to keep running towards the net in waves and catch it and finish going towards the net? And it looks like it is now 31 in goal for Hill Academy. That is Cameron Volk instead of Aiden Yellow as they were celebrating the goal.
I'll tell you, Aiden Yellow deserves the rest the way he played in this game. It's now 12-3 Hill Academy. Cameron Volk. He's from Regina, Saskatchewan. One of the
Regina Pats.
One of the two players from Saskatchewan. I mentioned one Ezra Nephews from the Seneca Nation, and then Levi Spindlers from Nova Scotia. Big Sidney Crosby fan he is. I'm just assuming. Probably everyone is. Right?
Everyone north of the border is. Who's not a fan of Sid?
Even Luke Judson, even though he's from Rochester, New York. But mostly from Ontario. But they run into space, right? And their passing is so good.
Yes. The fundamentals of the running and the passing has been incredibly impressive to watch. They're running towards the net down the alleys, just repeatedly open, just using the simple philosophy of the give and go, Bob, right? They're just passing it off, continue to run, get it back. They catch it and move. Now here's Kello is back out in goal. There was a 31 out there for a minute, unless he came off the bench to celebrate and confused me.
Kello is back between the pipes. Nick Volpat came in relief of Tyler Newton in the second half. Our presenting sponsor of Upper St. Clair Boys Lacrosse on the Trib Live High School Sports Network is GS Jones, Western Pennsylvania's premier disaster restoration company, restoring your property and your peace of mind.
Appreciate our sponsors for allowing us to do this for you this spring.
Yeah, also should shout out Frank Bonomo.
Yes.
Ryan's father, the Booster Club president, for hooking us up with coverage of boys lacrosse for the second straight year. We appreciate that. Thank you, Frank. And a gentleman to top that all off as well. He's a hockey guy too, so we had a good sidebar conversation about hockey. We have often sidebar conversations about different topics. Rickle looking for the hat trick for the second game in a row. Passes behind Proud, and that's a turnover. And transition coming for Dash Adams. Dashing through the middle of the field. And he dishes it off to the near side to Kyle Cleveland, and the personnel package will change for Hill Academy with 90 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Look at the spacing here again on the man-to-man D. Now they're getting kind of in an I formation.
So their box, without spreading it out, they've got, look at the parallel, Kevin. Right down the center, three of their attackers on offense.
They kind of got into formation.
And then they split out from that. On the move. Pass, open, shoveling, save. Underhanded shot from Gage Thompson. Better save from Nick Volpat.
How does he get all alone in front of Volpat like that?
Too many times. Here is Dash Adams on the move again. Good stick work by Amorosa to create a ground ball. That's Mateo Amorosa. But it's an offensive ground ball for Hill Academy. And they've got 35 seconds left in the third quarter to make it work, leading 12-3, excuse me. Sanderson down the right side. Sachets doesn't push, goes behind the goal line right. Little crow hop at the goal line for Nolan Sanderson. Works at the X. He'll come for the cutter. Open.
Oh, nice
save again, Volpat. High to high. He denies the shot from Vincent Ward.
Bonomo trying to pick up the GB.
Time runs out on the Panthers. Time runs out in the third quarter through 3 from Boyce Middle School. It is Upper St. Clair and Hill Academy. Hill Academy leading by a score of 12-3. Back with the fourth quarter right after this on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
I mean, it's sort of like talking to a legendary coach like a Bill Chirpak or a Danny Holzer, where they're always focused on the now. They're really not looking 10, 15, 20 years down the road. And, my perspective was I thought it was a great idea. I thought it had a chance to be very successful, and it has. But as far as when we first started, did I think this would revolutionize things? I thought it was something special, and I was thrilled to be part of it, but I don't know that I could sit there and say that 25 years later I'd be doing perspectives on what we were trying to accomplish.
Fourth quarter about ready to start here in the South Hills of Pittsburgh with Kevin Zolmanski, Bob Workwis, Jess Leva, our producer. I want to thank our gold partner for USC Boys Lacrosse, Brentwood Bank, the official banking partner of the Panthers with 5 convenient locations in the South Hills. The goaltending change is in effect for the Hill Academy.
Yeah, he must have run out to celebrate with Kello at first, but number 31, the sophomore, Cameron Volk from Regina, Saskatchewan, is now going to be between the pipes. It appears he's taking warm-up shots.
Kello is there. He's lurking. It looks like he's going to walk off to the sideline, though. So you would assume, because the Independent, and they play in the Canadian League where they have other prep schools in conference, and Volk is actually going to go in between the pipes to our right, with Nick Volpat staying in for the Panthers in the goal to our left. Draw control and a clean win for Robert Key, another face-off specialist for Hill Academy.
Expecting a lot of patience without the shot clock here, Bob, in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, the 9-goal lead, right?
Packing the crease area, and now they're going to go one-on-one on the dodge.
Sanderson. Good defense to Sora. Creates the turnover into the basket of Captain Beck Shields. Back to Gianni DeSora. In transition, the future two-sport athlete at Westminster College. Bounces it to Bonomo on the right wing. Now by Walski to Rickle. Holden Rickle with a hat trick yesterday. He's got a 4-goal game, a 5-goal game, I believe. A couple hat tricks, including 3 and 1 yesterday in the win over Norwin. 3 goals and an assist for the future St. Joe's Atlantic 10 player.
They're having a good season.
Rickle, Oscar and Charlie Limecoller play catch, much like the backyard for those two. And there's Rickle at the X. Gets a screen, dodges, lost the ball. And they get it into the basket of the new goalkeeper, Cameron Volk.
I think he lost it on that swim move, trying to get above GLE.
Right. That's good defense, right? With a double team, even if you get the body gets past you, stay on the stick in the basket. That created the turnover and possession for Hill Academy with a 9-goal lead just about 2 minutes into this fourth quarter. So they get their personnel changes. And off the bench will come Kenyon Shenandoah. He's from Cornwall Island in Ontario. There's a junior team in Cornwall, I think.
I was just thinking that. I was wondering that for some reason the Cornwall Royals stuck in my head.
Pass slides through. That's not a shot. That's a turnover for Hill Academy. The difference being here at Boys Academy, too, we are much more in tune with the communication. You can hear it a lot more than when we're at the football stadium, the high school stadium, which is we're up top across the way from the benches. A little more intimate in this press box, both on the field and proximity with everyone working this game at the counter. Off the bench, Proud. Cutting right, still coming right. Good stick. He's going to scoop up the ground ball, though, but that was a good step up defensively by Garnet Schultz. There's Rickle, left side. That's Proud, not Rickle. 5 versus 6. Oscar Lime-Kohler, going to get another penalty against Hill Academy. Spin out.
Ooh.
And a save by Volk. Stops Bonomo. He went low, so did Cameron Volk.
So we have Volk and we have Volpat. Probably the rare chance where the two surnames start with V's in the same lacrosse match.
Penalty will be charged against Brody Haynes for Hill Academy.
Panthers EMO. See what they can do here. Down 9.
They've had some chances. They have not got an EMO goal. Hill Academy has an EPO goal in this one. Panthers work perimeter. They direct traffic. Rickle, Bonomo. Oscar Lime-Kohler gets it back from Proud. Bonomo. He'll cut left. Flip to Rickle. That's Proud will spin. Good defense over there by Miller. Charlie Lime-Kohler near side. That's Oscar below the goal line right. Rickle. He'll whip it. Likes to shoot it. Goes back. And they'll whip it in. Rickle goes to Charlie Bywalski, who tickles the twine with a man-up goal for Upper St. Clair.
Well, they kept the ball hot, circulated it counterclockwise, Bob, and they dragged the defense a little bit to the right. Bywalski popped out. He was in the middle there, and there's good rotation right on the screen as it was Rickle who went to the top and passed it off to Bywalski on his preferred right shot left side, and he fired that one home for the 4th goal of the game for the Panthers.
So they get the EMO goal.
Good execution.
13th of the year by Bywalski, or for Bywalski. Rickle now with an assist to go with his 2 goals, and it's 12-4. Menzo Pantano gets in there. The violation against procedure against Hill gives Panthers the draw control.
Panthers likely are not going to be able to score enough to win this one, but it's an opportunity to run your offensive against a very good team.
I like what you said earlier, though. So draw something out of this, right? If you're going to watch the video, maybe find a set play or two that you like.
Right.
On the move, Proud. He went a little overhand with a whip shot, misses back up by Nate Haberman. We get to see for the first time Luke DeRubis in the game. He played last night against Norwin. Behind the net, at the X to the right, it's Evan Proud dodging near side. Goes underhand. I'm not sure if that was stopped by Volk or hit the outside of the net, but Volk scoops it up, and Hill's got possession.
I think he did make that save with the shin, Bob.
Brody Haynes on the move. Pass comes out. Good to see that Kyle Cleland, who was nicked up earlier, is back in. So he was questionable return, but his injury not enough to keep him out of the lineup. As Hill again has Pine Richland on this Western PA trip, and they come back in May, where they play Peters Township and Mount Lebanon. Mount Lebanon, one of the top programs in 3A in the WPIL, the league that Upper St. Clair plays in. They're currently a half game behind the Panthers in section play. Mount Lebanon. Ball on the turf Nolan Sanderson with an offensive ground ball. He'll scoop it up, find Vincent Ward. And Ward finds Ryden Bomberry. All those players have been good offensively. And there's another opening. Volpat. Either Rickle blocked it or Volpat got a piece of it on the opportunity. Volpat gets the save on the Ryden Bomberry attempt on the near post.
Continue to use that same play on the left side of the offense.
It continues to be wide open.
Right.
It's kind of mystifying.
Maybe the Panthers would be better served to shut that down if they went to a zone defense for a bit.
It could be, right? Clog the middle. On the move. Stepping to the right, Gage Thompson. He'll get the pass now to Sanderson. Sanderson will come near side. And spinning away from the defender, Beck Shields, was the player Ward, but a good save by Volpat, reaching the basket to the right and creates transition on the move. It is the long stick of Rackley, who scored yesterday. Rackley picks it back up, a save by Volk. Rackley picked up the ground ball and dumped it down low, but Cameron Volk was up to the task.
Well, he's looking for 2 consecutive games. Rackley's feeling it. He went end-to-end with this game. He said, I
got the long pull opportunity in transition, you take it. That's all I'm saying. That's my advice.
That's what he did.
Worked yesterday at a couple points, or just a goal. DeSora had a couple extra points, 2 goals and an assist. He doesn't have the long pull, nor does that man. Good shot down low by Lane, Max Lane, but a better save. The understudy pretty good, Cameron Volk.
Man, are they sucking up those shots. Amazing goaltending play.
We're down to 4:10 left in this fourth quarter. A 12-4 lead for the Hill Academy. And Nolan Sanderson just waiting for the personnel changes. Sanderson will come off reluctantly. Gives it to Kenyon Shenandoah. Off the bench, that's going to be a turnover. They could not keep it, and trying to come off the bench was Dash Adams. It bounced away from Levi Spindler.
Over and back.
Yep, and it just went over midfield. Rickle, that's good transition. Another pass and a tap in. At the end, it is Haberman to Bonomo for the slam dunk.
Well, that was kind of a taste of their own medicine, right? The unforced error, the quick restart into an offense with great ball movement, keeping it hot, and Bonomo crashes down to the post, and Haberman across the goal mouth for the finish. And the Panthers finally get one going. That looks pretty impressive. Instead of it just on an individual dodge, the good team offense for the finish in goal number 5.
Haberman just used to be on the other end of that, right? Getting the tap-ins in front. 16 now for Bonomo, and Ryan Bonomo has scored points in all 7 games he's played. He's got goals in 6 of the 7 he's played. And by the way, for Ryan Bonomo, that is his program-leading 188th goal. He's now got 244 points in his career as well. Panthers have another possession here late. That goal came at 8:23 of the fourth quarter.
Those are the kind of stats in one sport where you come back in like 10 years when you're inducted into the Athletics Hall of Fame.
Dr. Ryan Bonomo. Pass in front. Oh, the move by Haberman, but he just missed because Ryan is right now going to study neuroscience at Merrimack. There's a shot that misses. More backup for the Panthers as we're near. There you see it in the clock, 2:44, and it starts. Bonomo, can he get another? Yes! Stings it from his office. His 17th and second in a row.
Finally got a little bit of space there, dude, Bonomo, where he prefers to operate right there around the 20, 25-yard line area on that hash mark. He catches it right on the 22, and he steps into it with a few crossovers and stings it from 10 yards out into the upper part of the net. We've seen that often from Bonomo, and he gets that one.
Can you get a shot of the goalie? I like this. This is a good attitude to have. Look at Cameron Volk. He gives up a goal, just puts his arm up. I'm just hanging out in goal, playing a little lacrosse with my friends. I don't blame Cameron Volk for not getting in the way of that shot from Bonomo either.
But
He stung it.
But the point you're making is he's not fazed by it.
Correct. You got to shower it off. That's the point. That's the demeanor you need as a keeper. Bonomo looking for the hat trick all of a sudden with 2:15 to go. Thanks, Jess, for getting that shot for me. This thought, it was just interesting the way Cameron Volk was hanging out. There's a spin out by Charlie Lime-Kohler. And the slide defensively came from Patrick McCullough.
Really good D. Another example of something you can learn right there. They timed that slide and cut that topside run off.
Line comes, might be a slash. Bywalski tried to come out on the left side. A push, I think. Maybe a slash. Okay, we'll try to figure it out. Yeah, it is a slash, a 1 minute slash.
1:38 on the clock.
This is the one thing that Hill Academy, they've taken a lot of penalties. And the Panthers, they've got a man-up goal amongst their 3 goals here. They haven't given up a goal, Upper St. Clair, in the fourth quarter. They scored all 3. Maybe get another late one.
Penalty on number 11, Cooper Campbell.
At Mars tomorrow for Upper St. Clair, so another tough test, 3A versus 2A. Bonomo, Lime-Kohler, saved by Volk. Denies the shot from Charlie Lime-Kohler, scoops up the rebound. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. Oscar Lime-Kohler didn't take too kindly to the save on his brother. He attacked on the ride. Also attacking on the ride is Charlie Lime-Kohler.
Well, Charlie Lime-Kohler was open, but he lost his balance and had to regain it.
And transition works and a tap in. One move, and Charlie Packard has another goal for the Hill Academy.
So that gave the goaltender Volk time to square up to Charlie Lime-Kohler and absorb that one for another good save. And then, as we've seen too often here, if you're a Panthers fan watching this, the Hill Academy gets into transition and with good passing creates an easy shot opportunity and the finish for Packard.
Makes it 13-6. Luke Cleland with the assist. Good transition, right? They withstood the pressure on the ride. And then they got the clear, and they've got the pass in front, and Packard has another. Another draw control. Now you could salt off the final 50 seconds if you're Hill Academy.
Pressing out. Are the Panthers? They're going to double. Goaltender's not out.
Brody Haynes running behind the net.
Well, they were still a man up. That's why they were able to double and outnumber them, I think. It just came out now.
And now you could waste away your first win coming back to Western Pennsylvania. Got Pine Richland on your docket for Hill Academy. Mars tomorrow for Upper St. Clair. Clock is at 15 seconds. And they're going to get it into the basket of Vincent Ward, and that's going to do it. Horn sounds here at Boys Middle School. Hill Academy comes into Western Pennsylvania from north of the border, and they win this one by a score of 13-6. It's high-level competition, right? And pretty good prep school. And it's all for Upper St. Clair to get better when it comes to the playoffs. They did some good things. Again, a big credit to Aiden Kello, right?
Yes, he was fantastic in goal.
Rickle got the first goal of the game. The next 6-7 actually came for Hill Academy, but Kello made a ton of good saves, and they denied a couple of comebacks from Upper St. Clair, did Hill Academy.
It really took the Panthers a while to try to figure out something that would work offensively against this Hill Academy team. And the ride of the Panthers really never slowed down. The Clair game the transition game of the Hill Academy was fantastic, and they just
Their
got too many.
cuts and their passing and their sets.
It was all
really
impressive.
Good, really, really impressive stuff for Hill Academy. So again, they've got Pine Richland. I'm not sure. They had Mars scheduled for tonight, so I'm not sure if Hill Academy will still play Mars. We know Upper St. Clair is scheduled to play Mars tomorrow night.
St. Mike's on the 30th. Pine Richland on the 18th. I don't know if those games got swapped or what. Then they come back in May. At Peters on the 5th, which I believe is a Monday. And the 6th, they're playing Mount Lebanon.
And for Upper St. Clair, makes their overall record dropping to 5-4 with this loss tonight. Again, they are playing at Mars tomorrow. Our next broadcast will be Monday. Non-section as Penn Trafford comes in. They've got Mars, Penn Trafford, and Fox Chapel before Mount Lebanon, Hempfield, Central Catholic sandwiched in there as a Pine Richland game, but their final 3 section games as well for Upper St. Clair. We'll thank our sponsors, presenting partner, GS Jones, our gold partner, Brentwood Bank, and our silver partner, Everest Infrastructure Partners. For Jess Leva, our producer, Kevin Zomansky, my partner, Brandon Rossai, and everyone from Upper St. Clair. Bob Workwis, your final score, Hill Academy 13 and Upper St. Clair 6. Been watching coverage of Upper St. Clair boys lacrosse on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Have a great evening, everyone.